Hello friends and my dear students, this is Sstp Academy. Today I am going to teach you about punctuation marks in English language. First of all, we are going to understand the meaning of the punctuation. Punctuations, a set of symbols and marks which are used to clarify meaning in text by separating strings of words into classes, phrases, and sentences. Punctuation are marks used in printing and writing to separate sentences and classes and to help make the meaning of sentences more clear. List of punctuation marks and symbols. In general, there are 14 punctuation marks are in English grammar. Those are as follows: period or full stop, question mark, exclamation mark or point, comma, semicolon, the colon, dash, hyphen, bracket, the braces, parenthesis, apostrophe, quotation mark, ellipse. So I will explain all these 14 punctuation marks below on this PPT. First one, full stop or period. Full stop is used, that means rule 1. Full stop is used at the end of every complete and assertive sentence except the interrogative and exclamatory sentences. Rule number 2. Full stop is used after every letter of an abbreviation such as MLA and MP. It is also used in the shorthand expression etc., example, OP and CIT. Note is there. The note first one, full stop mark are not used after Mr. and Mrs. also. Second one, full stop mark are not used after every letter in very popular abbreviations such as UNESCO, WHO or UN. Third one, first, second and third and fourth also don't take full stops, marks or symbols after them. So these are this kind of numbers. We can't take the full stop after these numbers. Second one, comma. It is the smallest pause and used in the following conditions. Rule number 1. To separate a series of words of the same part of the speech from each other. But the number of such words in these same series should not be less than 3. Before the last word in the series, conjunction "and" is added, and before the "and" a comma may or may not be used. Example, I have seen Bombay is here, comma, and Calcutta, Madras and Bangalore. A comma can also be used before "and". There are in this zoo all kind of birds, animals, reptiles and monkeys. The comma before "and" can be removed also. So these two conditions. So we use comma. Rule number 2. To separate pairs of words in the same series. Examples. There sell here, books and magazines, notebooks and diaries, greeting cards and picture books. This is the example for one more. That means second condition. Second one, high and low, rich, poor. That means high and low, rich and poor, proud and humble, all assemble here. Rule number 3. To separate two or more than two adverb or adjectives phrases coming after each other. So that means the separate of two or more than two adverbs or adjective phrases coming after each other, we can use commas. Example: thereupon at last he broke down. Then after waiting for more than an hour, we saw him coming out. So here these two are the example. Rule number 4. To separate small coordinate classes in a compound sentence. So then also we can use the comma. First one, example: he came, he saw, he conquered. Second one, the weather was pleasant, the wind was calm, the hills all around, that is all round, were green. Third one, storms may blow and could may burst, but it must go. Note: no comma is used when two coordinate classes are connected with a coordinate conjunction. So this is very important. No comma is used when two coordinate classes are connected with a coordinate conjunction. Rule number 5. To mark a nominative of address or vocative subjects. For example, Ram, what are you doing? Second one, what will you do now? My friend. These are the nominative of address or vocative subjects. Rule number 6. To separate a nominative absolute. For example, so that means to separate the nominative absolute, then we are using the comma. First one, example: this done, we forced further, the weather being pleasant, we proposed to go one picnic, Having reached there, he addressed a public meeting. Rule number 7. Comma is used to separate a noun and phrase in opposition. A comma is placed on both the side of such a noun and phrases. That means here we can use the comma both sides of such a noun and phrases. For example, Nelson, the great wrestler, has won. Milton, the great poet, was blind. Mahatma Gandhi, the father of nations, is worshipped as an apostle. Rule number 8. On both sides, that means on both the sides of phrases that can be developed into a sentence and which is not merely a qualifying phrase. For example, Gandhi have acquired the degree of Bharat Law, returned to India. Our team having won the series, returned last month. Rule number 9. On both the side of typical words, phrases or classes used within a sentence. So that means then also we can use the comma. For example, he, however, did not return before sunset. He is, after all, your brother and you must help him. Let's not. I pray you part. I pray you. Let's not. I pray you part like this. So that means maintain the pause here. And rule number 10, comma is used in the place of word left out in a sentence, especially a verb left out as understood. For example, he received a medal, a prize. You went to Calcutta, he to Bombay. He secured first division, I to second. Rule number 11, to separate an adverbial class from the principal class. But he is the adverbial class come after the principal class. No comma is used before. So yeah, examples are like this. You go to office. Please submit my application. When I was at Kanpur, I met your father. Inform me when you come back. Same. Rule number 12. A comma is placed between the name of the person and his degrees or titles. If there are several degrees, a comma is placed after each degree. For example, B.K. Acharya, M.A., Ph.D., delete. Mrs. Sarojini Naidu, Governor of Uttar Pradesh. Rule number 13. A comma marks is also used between a long subject and its verb. For example, all that is said before he said sail was long remembered by all. Whatever he spoke from the pulpit on the Christmas day turned out to be true. Rule number 14. To separate a noun class from the verb of the principal class. If the noun class comes immediately before the principal class, then we can use the comma. For example, whatever is right, whoever comes is welcome. That's a row. No one could believe. That's a row. No one could believe. Rule number 15. To separate, so comma is using to separate a direct quotation from the rest of the sentence. For example, he said, I am a Shaila. What will you do? He asked, if I withdraw my help. Go home, said my father, and help your brother. So now next one is colon. So symbol is like this, colon. So after full stop, the next complete pause is expressed by colon. The colon can be written as 2 dots. It is used in the following cases. So it's also having some rules to use colon. The first one, rule number 1, before writing a quotations. Colon can be used before writing quotation. For examples, Bacon says, reading make the a full man, writing an exact man, speaking a ready man. Once again repeat, Bacon says, reading make the make a full man, writing an exact man, speaking a ready man. Rule number 2. Before drawing a list of some articles of giving examples. For examples, first one, the principal cities in India are Delhi, Bombay, Calcutta, Madras, and Bangalore, etc. Pencils, pens, rubbers, papers, ink, these are the articles sold here. So let me use here colon. Rule number 3. Before grammatically independent but closely connected sentence, that time we can use the colon. Examples: he can never deceive anyone. He is an absolutely honest person. Next is interrogation, that means question mark. Marks of interrogation used at the end of an interrogative sentence in the direct interrogative form. For example, number 1, are you going home? Do you know him? Why do you want to meet him? These are the questions. At the end of this question, that means interrogative sentence, we can use the interrogation mark or question mark. But in direct narration, the interrogative sentence is converted into an assertive sentence, and therefore a full stop is used in place of mark of interrogation. For example, he asked me why I wanted to meet him. That time we can use full stop in place of question mark. He asked me whether I was going home. Next one is dash. Dash is used in the following cases. Rule number 1. So dash symbol is like this. Then among this rule number 1, in case of sudden stoppage or a change of thoughts or feelings, for example, if I were born in those exciting times, dash, but what is the use of such broodings? Rule number 2. To collect scattered or stray thoughts. For example, houses, cottages, farms, houses, cattle, sheds, grain stocks, all were damaged in the flood. So due to flood, these are damaged. Next one is semicolon. Semicolon, top one dot and down one comma. That is called semicolon. The symbol is like this. And semicolon mark is used in the following cases. For example, rule number 1. Between the clauses of the compound sentence, when these clauses can be converted into complete independent sentence, then we can use the semicolon. For example, he is the strongest candidate, even as a review admit this fact. This is the best book available here. All good students read this book. Rule number 2. So separate coordinate classes in a compound sentence when they are connected by a conjunction, and when commas have also been used in them, that time we can use the semicolon. For example, he was a brave, respectable person, and he was loved that means he was loved and admired by all. Second example, the event was thrilling, exciting and momentous, and everyone watched it with bated breath. Rule number 3. Semicolon is also used between two coordinate classes of a compound sentence which are not joined by any conjunction and which have their separate subjects. For example, the train halted, the passenger rushed forward, the vendors and hawkers had their good say, the bell rang, the students assembled for prayer, the principal addressed them, the day work was resumed. Next one is exclamation mark. So exclamation mark is like this symbol. So exclamation mark of that means mark of exclamation is used at the end of an exclamatory sentence or after an interaction or any words or phrase are suggestive of some sudden feelings or expressions. That time we can use the exclamation mark. For example, alas, he is ruined. May you live long. So such kind of surprise sentences, exclamation sentence, expression sentence, we can use the exclamation mark. parenthesis, that means bracket. Parenthetic words, phrases and classes are written within or with bracket. They keep the parentheses separate from their main sentence. The parentheses have no grammatical connection with the main sentence. But here there is no grammatical connection between the bracket and main sentence. For example, he gained from heaven. It was all he wished. A friend, that means great. Inverted commas. Inverted commas are used to mark out the extract or exact words of a speaker or a quotation. Double inverted commas are used at the beginning and end of a statement or quotation using exact words. If there is a quotation, with the quotation, the internal quotation is closed within a single inverted commas, and the whole sentence or quotation within double inverted commas. For example, he said, I have consulted several references books. That means he said, I have consulted several reference books, but I have not been able to understand the correct meaning of a child is father of the man. Next one is hyphen. Hyphen is a small dash. The mark of hyphen is smaller than the dash mark, and it is used to make compound words. For example, father-in-law, mother-in-law, passerby, etc. It is also used to connect the first part of a word at the end of a line, the second part of which is carried over to the beginning of the next line. For example, he said that he was going to rusticate the naughty boy. Apostrophe. Rule number 1. Apostrophe is used to make a possessive case. Example, Ram's house, girls' school, Mohan's book, etc. Rule number 2. Sometimes some words are shortened by dropping out some letters from their spellings, and in place of those letters an apostrophe is used. For example, he didn't go. Rule number 3. To write o'clock, apostrophe is used. So any clock writing, then we can use the apostrophe. Rule number 4. To make plural of letters or figures, for example, ones, twos, threes, fours, then also we can use the apostrophes. And he is not. Then we can use the apostrophes. Thank you. If you like this PPT, like, share and subscribe. If you want to download this PPT, I will give you a link in description. Go and download it.